heartbroken actually, because as you're coming down the front end of the path, you see the first signs of it, and I thought, oh, here we go, it's going to be one of those days.
Yeah.
And then as you came down onto the beach, the tide was in. I was the first one down here, which is my regular routine, first thing in the morning, about 8 o'clock. And just seeing there are about 20 really awful graffiti paintings up on the wall. Thankfully a couple of others came down and we've been able to remove the worst offendings. So there was one over here which was a swear word. We removed the swear word. There was one around the corner which was a racial slur. If you go over you'll actually see the remnants of it. So we've and that's a National Trust officer there now, you can see, coming down to take photos. So it's heartbreaking. It's devastating that somewhere as beautiful, where you can come, where you can get away from plastics, where you can get away from COVID, where you can remove yourself from society, as it were, where you can come down to your primitive self and be here on the beach. Most of the regular tourists know that it's a naturist beach, so they're more than, they're happy with it. It also
and they share it with the naturists, don't you? You share it together.
Yeah, it's kind of classed as what we call a clothing optional beach, but thankfully now we're actually legally protected. You cannot. A policeman cannot come down here and force us off the beach, as it were, nor can we be told to move or to. It's grandfathered in.
Yeah.
And if you go onto the police college website, or if you ask me, I'll send you the information later. So it's now a legally protected naturist beach, and of course it's Crown property, managed by the National Trust. They can't declare it a family beach, so that means. So it remains as a grandfathered naturist beach.
Brilliant. And some of the naturists were helping out clean this mess up, weren't they?
We're so shocked that the Cornish. How can I say? The Cornish will. We know that the tourist industry is paramount to a lot of businesses down here, especially locally, and. Thankfully a couple came down earlier this morning. They had brought some sandpaper, wire brushes, and we tried to remove the most offending parts, and then I've been around and I've just thrown sand up on the ones that are worse. Unfortunately here the sand's too dry, so I haven't been able to do anything with that.
Yeah. And what's next then? Do you think that obviously National Trust are here cleaning it up?
I'm not sure who will actually be responsible for removing the paint. I'm going to guess that it's going to have to be done very carefully, because you don't want to damage the environment. You don't want the paint actually ending up in the sand and just flaking off. You want to be able to take it off carefully. Here it's not so bad, because in this little gully there's no lichens growing on the granite, but if you look just slightly above the tide line, you can see these beautiful yellow, golden lichens, and you don't want to be damaging them. Some of those are hundreds of years old.